All right, students, today we're going to be doing drawing number 99, Linoleum Center. As you can see on our drawing today, that we have two layers that we're going to make. That is our object layer and our dimension layer. So we're going to start a new drawing. We are in inches, and we're going to begin like we did with drawing 100. So the first thing is we need to create a new drawing. And we want to start with ACAD or ACAD.DWT. And once we start a new drawing, everything that we did yesterday is different. It's all gone. So we have to restart that. So we have to change our limits. And it says lower left. We're going to change that to 0, 0 and hit enter. And then 12, 9 and hit enter. And this is a good time to readjust our screen. So we'll type in Z for zoom and then A for all, or you can click right on the bottom down here. So now you can see my background grid has kind of changed for us. We want to start creating new properties, new layers. So right in the middle of your screen where it says layer properties, go ahead and click on that. You should get this pop-up box. The very first picture has like a yellow starburst with 3 stacks of paper. Go ahead and click that. That's how we'll create a new one. And it is an object layer that we're creating. Keep your color white. Keep your line type continuous, but change your line weight from default to 0.6. Do that again, but this time we're going to make a dimension layer, color it blue, a blue that you can see. I can see a darker blue, but you might choose a lighter blue. Keep it continuous and then go back to default thickness. If you go to our top pull down, you'll see where our layers are. We're going to go to our object layer to start. This is a good point for me to tell you that if this seems like I'm going so fast, that's okay. Pause and restart it. So as we take a look at what this drawing requires, you could do this similar to how we did drawing 100. For me, it doesn't work out quite as nice, but we can draw out some of our parts, draw out others, and then we can mirror it around. If I were going to do the math to figure out what this missing section is, this would be 2.5 inches. So I'm going to start by drawing 2.5 inches in my upper right corner. I'm going to come down 1.5 inches. I'm going to go over 1 inch, and then I am going to drop down. See right here, it says 5/8. That's this distance. That is on this part though. So I'm just going to stop here at the 1 inch because I don't know what this length is. It's not pointed out anywhere. So I'm going to pause on that. And what you'll see me do is I'm going to draw a line coming down that's a 1/2 inch long. And I am going to delete that out later, but it's a placeholder for now. And then I'll come down 1.5 inches. I need somewhere to start, okay? So this line is going to be 1.5 inches, and now I can do that 5/8 of an inch. So let's get started. I have my upper right corner here, and I'm going to go over 2.5 inches. So I typed in 2.5, but you could do 2 minus 1/2. You can convert to decimals if you want to. Make sure you're going in the direction that you want your line to be drawn. And then we are going to go down 1.5 inches and then over 1. So down 1.5, and I'll go over 1 here. Now, before I said I'm going to create a placeholder that comes down 1/2 inch. So I'm not going to erase that line. I'm not going to do anything with it. I'm just building off of it. I'm going to continue to draw a straight line down. This one is 1.5. And I could continue drawing, but I think I'm going to stop there and just try to mirror it. And I want to go in and find that little placeholder just by selecting it, and then I'll erase it out. Now I hit delete on my keyboard, but you could also go to erase. You could also come up here to erase on that as well. So this line, if we go back to our drawing, we can see that this line is going to be 1.5 inches long, and then we have that 5/8 right there. So this is going to be 1.5 and then 5/8. So see how I'm mix and matching things? That's okay. I don't really know how long this line is right now. I'll just put it like that. But we don't know this little length of line in here. What we have to do to figure that out is we're going to have to use some offsetting. So if I come over to here, you can see that from that 5/8, there's a 3/8 inch long line. And that connects to whatever this is. That's how I'll figure out that length. And then we also have let's see here. We're going to go for this one. I want to go up 3/8 of an inch. So I'm just going to use my offset command. I go to offset and then I type in 3/8 before I click anything and hit enter. Select my line and move it up. Notice I kind of exaggerate how far up it goes. Now it's a matter of I got to do a little cleanup here. So I just drew that line. I'm going to extend this over, kind of push things around a little bit. And you can either trim or you can click and drag things like I just did. So I have this top piece right up here. Now, I have another center piece right here, don't I? And this comes over 1/2 inch, and then my middle piece is 2 inches. So I'm going to use my offset 1/2 inch here, and then I want to show you a trick. So I want to go over 2 inches from this line. I'm going to come over, and this time I'm going to type 2. Notice I'm still in a 1/2 inch, but I can override my offset. Or you can just draw a line 2 inches over. That's fine too. So I'm actually going to delete that line out. I don't really need that if I'm going to be mirroring things around. All right, so I've got a really good corner going here. I basically have what I need. This is kind of like our drawing from yesterday, drawing 100. So I am going to mirror. I'm going to choose everything but this 2 inch line right here. All right, so hit enter, go to your midpoint, pull down, and click again. I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm not going to select these vertical lines. So mirror, hit enter, and then go across these lines. All right, we're getting close to being done on this one. We have to add in our dimension, right? So let's take a look. Remember, I said to you, your dimensions should always look like the dimensions you see in the drawing. We have fractions, and we have them aligned with the dimension line. So let's go to our dimension style manager. And I told you there are 3 ways to get to it. You can go to where it says standard and click on manage dimension styles. Next to the word dimensions, there's a little arrow pointing in the corner. You can go to your dimension style manager there, or you can type in dim style and it will pop up. We're going to create a new style. And we're going to call it fractions. Hit continue. And again, we're going to go to our primary units tab. We're going to change it from decimal to fractional. And then go to your text tab and align it with dimension line. Click OK, set current, and close. Now across the top, I can start putting my dimensions in. And I could do linear all the way across, but let's use our continue and just snap it. It doesn't go all the way to the end. I'm not going to put that one in. And then a linear across the top. We have a linear down this side. Oop, Miss K. There we go. And then we're going to hit continue on this side. And it's the same thing. Don't go all the way to the bottom, because that's not how this one is dimensioned. There is a dimension here as well. And this time I'm going to just do the linear again. But notice how I'm going to line them up. I want them aligned with each other. Same thing here. Oh, look at that one. That one went outside. That's okay. This one, I'm just going to push inside. All right, let's see. Do I have any other dimensions that we need to add in? I think we've got it. We just need to add our name, and this one should be done. So I'll go to multi-line, and in all caps, I'm going to put my name, and then this is drawing number 99. Make sure you save this as drawing number 9, and then you can go to the next drawing. Now, when you set up your next drawing, drawing number 98, I want to point out something. We have a brand new line type that we have to include, and that is our center lines. So as you go on to the next one, my layer properties, start from fresh, kids, but I am just showing you how you can create a center line layer. So I call it center. I'm going to color it green. Here's the big change. We're going to change our from continuous to center. Just use the regular center. Then highlight it in your first pop-up box. And we're going to change the distance to 0.35. So again, you click on here where it said continuous, and you get this pop-up box. You have to go to load. And then you have to load in the center line, highlight it in the box, and click OK. It should say center here. Now, what that looks like when you go to draw, let me scoot over here. Now you can see my line has those long dash, little dash stripes in there. And I'm just starting out with basic center lines here. I think that would be a good start, or you could start with your rectangle tool. And I'll show you how you can do that if you're going to start with that. So if you take a look at your drawing here, it tells you it's 8.5 by 5. And if I go to this rectangle tool and I start it, I want you to see, do you see that number? Look at the bottom number. It's like a hot number down there. So if you type in 8.5 and then you hit tab, you can get to the other number. And that's how you can put in your rectangle. And then you can go back to your center point. Now, the thing with center lines is they aren't right on the edge, right? So you see how I hover on the center, and then I'm going to pull up. I get that green line. I'll pull back about a square. It's going to be 1/4 of an inch. We'll do it more specifically later, but go to your midpoint and pull back. Right now we're just getting those tails on either side. And now you can come in here and start working on this. If we wanted to work from the inside, that center square is 3 inch. So here's our polygon tool. We want it to be 4 sides. We have our center point. Make sure you are getting the intersection there. It's circumscribed. Our circle is not 3 inches radius, it's 1.5 inches radius. So you got to type that in. It's on the wrong layer, but don't worry, kids. I'm going to put that on the object layer. Now, because I did that, when I go to offset this, it'll offset the whole rectangle. So if I were to offset this 1 inch, take a look, it would do it like that. That doesn't work for us. So instead, I'm just going to draw over 1 inch, and then I can go up 1 inch, and then 3/4, and come down 2, and over 3/4, and I'll just extend this down. Now, if you do use a helper line, delete it out. You don't want to keep it there. You can mirror it. You can redraw the other one on the other side. That's up to you. And then we have on this one a little corner that we can cut off. So you see right here it says 2 1/4 at a 30-degree angle. I'm going to use my chamfer for that. So under fillet is the chamfer command. And at the bottom, we're going to use angle because we're given an angle. And it wants to know what the first distance is. That's 2 1/4, so 2 minus 1/4. And then the angle is 30. Now, it's important that you choose the long line because that's where the length came off of. So the long line is your first line, and the short line is your second one. So you can continue to do that. I'm going to click multiple down here. And you're going to do long, then short, long, then short, long, then short. Go ahead and we're going to end up dimensioning this, but let's fix these center lines. They should be 1/4 of an inch away from our part. So I am going to offset these lines by 1/4. So I'm going to just go to my trim everything so it's 1/4, and then I'll delete out my outer offset.